He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Omnibus is an absolutely massive tome of a book. It takes an entire story from start to finish, where you have He-Man, or rather Prince Adam, waking up as a woodcutter, and he thinks something's wrong and he gets attacked by Beastman. You find him going on a quest because he's led by a magical bird that is the spirit of a sorceress, and he meets up with the other Masters of the Universe, such as Teela, Man-at-Arms and so on. And you find that they've all had their minds wiped by Skeletor, who has effectively won. He had taken over Castle Grayskull and wiped their memories and inserted them back into false lives. This is a great story. I thought it was going to be a bit cheesy and a bit sort of dull, like the 80s cartoon series, but I took a punt on it because I like the look of the art and that. And it's actually really engrossing, and you feel like it's the good plot for a TV series, to be honest. The story progresses as you have Hordak gets involved, and there's an invasion of Eternia, and they end up becoming a sort of rebel force to fight back. And you see characters such as She-Ra getting introduced to have her origin story. We also have the origin story of people like Skeletor, obviously He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and they're interesting. Oh, and also Battle Cat as well, which is nice. And they're really good. The Evil Lyn story is good as well, as you see her sort of manipulating someone, and you initially you think that she's a good person and she found love, and then you find out no, she was just doing it because she's Evil Lyn. There's crossovers in here with the DC Universe and Thundercats. The Thundercat one I found the most boring because it's effectively a sort of 100-page fight. There are some bits to take away from it, such as you have a amalgam version of Skeletor and Mumm-Ra, which is quite cool to look at. But otherwise, you know, it gets a little tiresome because they're just fighting; they're not really doing much else. The crossover with the DC Universe is interesting because they have Prince Adam's mother being trapped on Earth in the DC Universe, because she's an astronaut from Earth who initially went to Eternia. A bit like Planet of the Apes star, she went to a wormhole and ended up there, and then she got sent back to Earth and now can't go back to Eternia because of reasons. If you are a fan of the 80s series, or you want something with a good story, nice clear art, that is, well, if you get it for the right price, really good value for money, then He-Man and Master of the Universe Omnibus is definitely worth getting. I wouldn't pay full price for it, but to be honest, you can pretty much get it for half price a lot of places now, if not less. The binding on it is surprisingly good for a humongous book of this size. Everything seems to be safely affixed to the ribbon. You've got a nice reading eye on it. There's very little gutter loss once you actually break the spine on it and get it nice and flexible. The artwork is always clear. It's always good to look at. You never feel that you're looking at anything that someone's sort of just knocking out. It always feels like there's an element of care being put into it. You also get the old He-Man comics from the 80s in the back as well, which I didn't like as much, to be honest. And you get some character designs, variant cover arts, usual stuff you get with these omnibuses. Only thing I would say is that He-Man's outfit changes quite early on, and I didn't like that outfit. I prefer the traditional one. I'm guessing that's to sell toys. But otherwise, yeah, it's a really good, fun reading and incredibly good value omnibus. And I thought I'd make this video because a lot of people might be unsure if they want to take a punt on the book or not. And I think you should if you're interested, especially if you've got a sort of growing comic book or omnibus collection. It's definitely worth looking into. If you've got any views on it, please let me know. There's comments in below, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.